Hi there folks, my name's NovaWing24 and welcome to the NovaWrap, your one-stop location for all your simulation release news and goings on from the week that was. So here we are on Sunday the 21st of May 2017 for another round of simulation releases and recapping, and let's get started with the proverbial elephant in the room. So, Dovetail Games' long-awaited sim, Flight Sim World, has finally hit virtual shelves, albeit in early access form. So, alright, if you happen to have been hiding under the biggest rock in the deepest, darkest depths of somewhere I don't know where and have missed it, yeah, it's out. So Dovetail Games first initially promised two sims to us 18 months ago, 2 years ago, and we saw Flight School. Flight School was then pulled from virtual shelves about 6-8 weeks ago, and now we have Flight Sim World. So Flight Sim World is again full world, gives you the lessons and aircraft that featured in Flight School have been moved over into Flight Sim World, along with addition of new aircraft as well. You get the full world is included from day one, so it's not like you're limited to a particular region or area. You don't have to get any extra DLC to get the rest of the world. It's all there. So quick highlights for everybody. So the aircraft that you get included, as I said, you get the aircraft from the previous Flight School, which is the Diamond DA42 Twin Star, the Piper P18 Super Cub, and the P28 Cherokee. You also get the Piper Seneca and the Piper Mirage, and you also get the Diamond DA40, and for those who have very nostalgic like myself, you also get the Vans RV7. So you've got 7 very highly detailed, very beautifully modelled aircraft that overall looking absolutely spectacular coming out of for a title that's early access. Now, are there issues with this sim? Hell yes, there are massive issues with it at the moment. I'm not going to go into detail to it on this edition of the NovaWrap. If you want to check out my early access thoughts, my initial views, thoughts, issues that I've got, positive things I've got to say about it, I'm going to put a link in the description down below for my early access review, so please go and have a look at that. Also keep an eye on my channel. There will also be some other videos coming out detailing each of the individual aircraft that have shipped with the early access title. But I need to say this. As I said, there are issues with it. There are massive issues with it. Yes, it is built on Microsoft's flight simulator technology, which includes FSX, Microsoft Flight, FS9, and all the rest of it. So yes, there are things about it which will seem very familiar, because there are a lot of stuff that has been borrowed and continues to be used from the ESP platform that we're going to be familiar with. But this is still an early access title. Things are going to develop and change. We saw that change. We saw the active development cycle of Flight School. We're going to see it again with Flight Sim World. It's going to be in early access for a while, I'm guessing. There's no sort of set release date. It'll be ready when it's ready, from what we've heard. Hopefully, we'll find out more information at FlightSimCon coming up in a few weeks. And yes, there is only GA aircraft, propeller-driven GA aircraft in there at the moment. Couple of things I want to highlight. Something that I didn't realize when I did do my first impressions review. The physics and the aerodynamic model are completely different. It's each wing and control surface, so the tail planes and the wings, they're modeled individually now. So your left wing is modeled and your right wing is modeled. They're not modeled as one straight wing anymore, like they are in prepared X-Plane 11 and in FSX. So, you know, there are some significant under the hood changes here that a lot of people haven't really seen and realized yet. So, anyway, as I said, I'm not going to go too much further on it. As I said, I'm put a link in the description down below for my early access review, my first impressions of it. Have a look through it. Remember, this is an early access title, and if you've got bad things, you know, if you find bugs and find issues with it, then take responsibility, report them to the developer, report them to Dovetail and say, these are the issues I'm having. Don't go on a rant on social media and then say, oh, this is horrible, I'm going to go back to P3D. It's like, okay, well, that's cool, you can. P3D is still my is still my stable sim, my main sim, and will continue to be for a while. But you need to support developers and in their opportunities that they give us. Lockheed Martin don't give us the kind of opportunity to help out development, like, and troubleshoot and give feedback and be actively involved in the development process like Dovetail is. Just saying. Anyway, as I said, I already waffled on too much. It's going to stop there. Thank you very much. As I said, it is available now on Steam. Coming in a very affordable price. It was coming in at $25 available, or your original equivalent, available now on Steam as an early access product. As I said, just link to the product page in the description down below, along with a link to my first impressions video, available now on Steam. Alright, now that we've got the elephant out of the room, and we can move on with other simulation releases this week. So we are going to stick with the ESP platform, and we're going to look at a new release coming to us from the guys at Riddles. So they've released the Bellingham International Airport, so an airport popular with low-cost carriers in Washington State. So very popular with Allegiant Air and Alaskan Airlines, amongst others, operating a lot of passengers in and out of the beautiful Washington State and the mountains through there. Interestingly enough, the Bellingham cruise is a very fairly important destination because it's at one end of the Alaskan Marine Highway. So a lot of tourists, a lot of travelers will pass through here. So heading on to cruises and heading into Canada and the like, and heading north and south as well. So it's an airport I'm surprised been overlooked for so long, and this one's coming in and looking absolutely stunning. The detail that's gone into it is like quite incredible. There's a lot of custom vegetation's gone through. Very detailed buildings have gone into it, and looking absolutely, like, the textures on the taxiways and the runways look absolutely stunning. They really do. Beautifully, like, very high resolution photoreal imaging's been used in here, along with seasonally adjusted terrain as well. My concern would be that this is going to come at something that this detail generally comes with a fairly high frame rate cost. So not sure about that. Would be interesting to hear. But coming in at a reasonably affordable price as well, coming in at $25 or your original equivalent, available from FlightSim Store and other online retailers now, and designed to be fully compatible with the Orbix scenery for the area as well. So make it very beautiful, a very great destination to fly out of for a very beautiful part of the flight simulation world. Looking quite amazing. Available now for your flight simulation pleasure in FSX and P3D. Alright, continue on with another scenery release this week. So we saw the release from, this is from a Chinese developer, so WF Scenery Studio. So they've come out with their latest release, which is Shanghai International Airport, so Zulu Sierra Sierra Sierra. So this one again is coming in looking very highly detailed for one of the two international airports that there in Shanghai. So this is Shanghai Hongqiao. I think that's how you pronounce it. Anyway, primarily this is a sort of regional and internal sort of domestic carrier airport, so it doesn't handle a lot of international traffic. So it's good to see China getting a bit more love when it comes to the scenery developers as well, which is really nice. And again, this one's coming in looking quite detailed, but perhaps not as detailed as the Riddles release for the US, but it's still coming in looking very, very nice. Kind of cool feature about this as well, because it has a high-speed rail terminal built at the airport as well, which includes animated trains as well, running on a timetable. So that's kind of cool and kind of awesome that they've actually included the trains into the scenery as well. So actually, again, give you that sort of extra bit of realism, extra bit of immersion into your scenery, which is really cool. I did laugh a little bit at the description that I sort of found of the airport, where they were actually sort of ticking off the features, the usual things, the custom ground polys and quite good quality textures, nice building models as well. But they made a special thing of pointing out manually placed plants. So I'm assuming that the tree life, the arboreals, have all been put in their correct locations. However, though, having said that, one of the really interesting things about this, and this is one of the very few sceneries that I've seen do this, the terminals that have exposed sort of areas and sort of big glass areas, they've actually modeled the interior with actual interior modeling as well, which is kind of cool. Again, something that's again I really like to see when they do that. Again, though, it can be a bit heavy on frames, so I'd be interested to see to hear from anybody who has got it how it goes on your frame rates. But as I said, this one's available now, coming in at around about 25 about 30 US dollars. This one, about 25 euros, 30 US dollars, the original equivalent, available now. At the moment, only available at Sim Market. We may see it at other retailers, online retailers soon, but available now. Alright, moving away from the F6 and P3D world for now, moving into the world of X-Plane. So this week we saw a release of a freeware piece of scenery and from the guys over at A Sky Story. So they do a mixture of free and payware scenery, and this one's looking kind of cool, kind of awesome. So this airport is an airport that sort of serves a limited sort of international market, but again primarily sort of serves it serves an international market, but short haul international. So, but then again, it's Europe, so pretty much most international short haul. So anyway, but yeah, it's a lot of sort of tourist main tourist hubs and things like that, going to the French Riviera, going to Belgium, Scotland, England. But as well as also being a home for general aviation as well. So very interesting, very detailed looking airport. I'm really quite liking the night lighting actually that's been put through this one. I really do like the night lighting and the layout of this airport. So quite a beautiful detailed airport, especially coming in for free as well. So there is an option for you to donate to the team if you do want to support them. But this is looking pretty damn cool and gives you a chance to try it, and I kind of like it. So for X-Plane users out there, you've got a beautifully detailed piece of scenery you can grab, fully compatible with X-Plane 11 and X-Plane 10 as well. So yes, I'll pop a link in the description down below for that, available coming in at free. Alrighty, moving out of the flight simulation world now, moving into, it's still flight simulation, but not flight simulation as we would normally know it. So, Arma 3. So, Bohemian Interactive, with their first-person shooter title, Arma, of course, we know that they have forayed into things like aircraft and helicopters in the past, and sort of given us a mixed bag in the past, and they've come out with their latest piece of DLC for Arma 3, and they have released us with the Arma 3 Jets pack. So, alright, you get 4 fictional aircraft and a fictional aircraft carrier in here. So, but they're fictional with a twist. So you get the FA-181 Black Wasp 2, which looks disturbingly similar to an F-35C. Just saying. Happens to really look pretty much identical to an F-35C, maybe with an F-18 nose whacked on the front. Anyway, so that's that one. You also get the TO-201 Shikra, which looks disturbingly similar to a Pack 50 FA, just saying, just throwing it out there. And you get the A149 Gryphon, which looks again very dissimilar to the Saab Griffin, so just gonna throw it out there. And you get the Sentinel, which is a UCAV, so that X-43 UCAV that we saw make the carrier landings a few years ago, and under full automation. Yep, we've got that now in Arma 3. So, there you go. It'd be very interesting. They look kind of cool, kind of detailed, and kind of interesting. I'm very interested to see how it goes. I'm not an Arma 3 player. I don't do it. I pretty much avoid first-person shooters at pretty much all costs. But having said that, sometimes having seen the helicopter DLC that these guys put out, and now this, I'm almost tempted to jump into it. I'm not going to, but I'm almost tempted to. So anyway, but yes, if you are an Arma 3 player, or if you do happen to have it in your library and you do want to jump into and add some aircraft to your shooting experience, this looks like the DLC for you. So check it out, available now on Steam, coming in at $12 US, or your regional equivalent, available now. Alrighty, continuing on with other simulation release news this week, with simulation of a slightly different kind. So, Command Chains of War has been released. So this is an interesting one, talking about a. So I've sort of looked at this title before. So Command Modern Air Naval Operations. This is essentially a standalone version of this with a specific scenario, which is kind of interesting. Basically, it gives you a scenario of a new Korean War going hot. So how quickly it can escalate, and it gives you a couple of new different. It gives you it looks like three new scenarios along with some updated stuff as well. Sorry, 12 campaign scenarios. It gives you this one, which is very interesting to actually sort of go through and possible what if scenarios of a new Korean War happening. Very interesting, very disturbing. This title, I have it, and it is a very in-depth simulation of everything that you can possibly imagine. Everything from theater level operations, pointing whole carrier groups to somewhere you can control, all the way down to what type of ammunition gets fitted to a single helicopter. Like, the detail that's in this is insane. True successor, in my opinion, to the Harpoon series. But yes, there you go. So yes, as I said, a little disappointed, sort of that it's sort of not offered as an option, like a discounted option for existing users or existing owners of the Command series. It's sort of just, no, if you want these missions, you're going to be slugged the same price as somebody who's just getting it just for those missions. So it's always an issue I've had with the pricing structure of the Command series. Always an issue I've had with the pricing structure of it. So anyway, but yes, if you do want to grab this scenario, it is coming in available at $20 if you do want to pick it up. As I said, it's a very in-depth strategy. Takes a hell of a long time to even get grips to, let alone try and master. So yes, just beware of that one. It's a very much a time sink and a brain fryer, but very much worth it if you can invest the time and the energy. But yes, as I said, Command Chains of War available now on Steam, coming in at $20, or your original equivalent, available now. Alrighty, and other sort of releases this week. So we're going to we're going back to ground level now. So the guys over at Assetto Corsa. So we've seen a new piece of DLC come out from them, which is their Ready to Race pack. So the Ready to Race pack comes with 10 new vehicles. To actually be able to set yourself going on all the various race tracks that are offered as part of the Assetto series, giving you some very interesting, very wanted cars coming through as well. So we've got 4 vehicles from Audi. We've got the R8 LMS 2016. We've got the R18 e-tron Quattro. We've got the TT Cup 2016 and the TT RS. We've got the McLaren 570S and the P1 GTR. The Toyota Racing Developments. Celica ST185 Turbo and the TS040 Hybrid, which is kind of impressive that you can get a hybrid to actually race. That's kind of cool. You got a Maserati MC12 and a Lotus 311. I just love Lotus cars. I just love them. Look, I'm not going to go into detail about it, but as I said, this is a fairly huge release for them, and reasonably priced as well. So coming in at $8 or your regional equivalent, so you can really add these really cool, exciting new cars to your racing, your Assetto Corsa racing experience, if you wish. Available now on Steam, and I believe also coming out for the consoles as well. Available through the PlayStation Store. Available now. Alright, moving on, sticking with a ground level again this week. So we saw the guys over at Train Simulator have released a new route this week. So this week we saw the Bino Kingwood branch from Tunnelton to Kingwood. So this is an old school sort of American cargo and passenger transport route. Sort of was sort of around with going through the northeast corner of West Virginia. This is interesting though, is that it's a mixture of real and fictional line area, which is very interesting. Normally train simulators most of the time gone very heavily on sort of realism and sort of realistic scenarios and places, but this time they've actually gone through a mixture of sort of, some of it is part of the real line that went through there, but it's other parts it's for I'm not sure, they haven't really explained why they went through they took some liberties with it, but either way it gives you a beautiful set of sort of scenery and terrain to go through the Appalachians, hauling passengers and cargo. So yeah, looking kind of cool, kind of interesting with this one. Now with this you do get 13 new scenarios with this one. As I said, everything from training runs, hauling coal, hauling passengers, and just working sidings as well. You've got a You've got a B&O electric motive GP9 train in its original livery, as well as a 1960s capital scheme. You get a 65-foot passenger coach, whole heap of freight equipment. Looks like about 15 different various formats and types and cargo carrying things through there. As I said, along with the 17 miles of about 17 miles of track that you get included as well. So a fairly full-featured add-on coming for this one, coming in at $40 dollars or your original equivalent. Available now for Train Simulator. Available now on Steam. Alright, in other releases this week, so going on a slightly more grand, still sticking at ground level, but moving on to a grander scale again. So the guys over at Cities Skylines have released a couple of DLCs this week. So this week we saw the release of their mass transit DLC. So this adds in a few new different types of actual sort of mass transportation that you get through here. Because one of the things that I kind of missed from the core game, and kind of think it's a bit of a jib that we get this as this is a paid DLC rather than a core upgrade. Just not gonna lie, but anyway, but you do get some pretty cool stuff included with this as well. So you've got the addition of new types of ferries, monorails, cable cars, and blimps. So you get passenger carrying blimps. So you can provide mass transit via modern zeppelins around your city now. And you know what? It's kind of almost worth it just for that. I think that the monorails and the ferries probably should have been part of the core game, but the cable cars and blimps, sorry, I'm willing to throw money at being able to have mass transit via Zeppelin in my city. Not going to lie, I'm happy to throw money at that. Just saying. Anyway, if you do want to do something different with your mass transportation and go through and give you some new things, along with some new scenarios that are included for this, for taking a city and getting it back onto mass transportation streamlined, you can pick this one up, coming in at $13 or your original equivalent. Available now on Steam. In their second release this week, they released a new radio station, a really new radio pack, which they do every now and again from time to time. So it gives you 16 new tracks to add to your soundtrack. Mixed by, so new songs and mixed by DJ Lars, and as well as being written by Stephen K. Wells, so the authors and DJs of some of the other parts of the soundtrack in City Skylines. Coming in, you can add these new tracks for $4 available. Also, you can play these offline as well, so it's coming in MP3 format, so which is also kind of cool. I kind of like the fact that you can take it with you. But yes, available now. If you want to get some more audio into your sim, available now on Steam. Alright, now moving into the Offworld world now. So moving, so we had an interesting. This is an interesting release. Now I still don't have VR. Now I know some people are saying I'm a bit behind, but you know I'm still keeping an eye on it. VR is not something that really it interests me, but it doesn't excite me. But this is a title that's really piqued my interest. So this is called Detached. So basically it's an exploration kind of game mixed with I know I said I don't like first person shooters, but I like exploring kind of things. This is where you end up being trapped in an abandoned space station, and you've got to solve various puzzles to be able to save yourself and the lives of your crew, all the while being set about by the fact that you can run out of air very shortly, along with various other space dangers and dangers of debris and attacks and all sorts of stuff. And it's very interesting. The physics engine looks outstanding, and yeah, very interesting title, and something that I really think is very much suitable for VR. So I can imagine that you could also possibly get very motion sick playing this as well. So this is one of those VR titles which is actually making me seriously consider getting VR. So there you go. Anyway, but yes, if you are interested in this and want to pick it up, because it is a VR only title, coming in at $25, available now on Steam. Very interesting. Have a look at some of the videos on it. As I said, I'm intrigued on it. Available now on Steam. Alright, and rounding out the simulation release news for this week, we saw the release this week of Offworld Trading Company's latest piece of DLC, their first major expansion pack, which is Jupiter's Forge. So this now moves you. So previously you sort of been on Mars, and sort of exploring on Mars and doing that kind of stuff. Now you are moving over to Jupiter's moon Io. So we're going to be going through. We've got 2 new factions coming through here, a new campaign as well, and a whole heap of updates to the gameplay mechanic as well. It's looking absolutely outstanding. I really love this title. It's pretty much the title I go to when I need to relax. When I need to do something a little bit different, I go to this because it's just so well just balanced and really good, and just I just love it. It's got so many features of old school sort of strategy and city building simulators in it, along with some new quirky little features and just so many in jokes in it as well. It's just so many pop culture references. I love it. So yes, this was I always highly recommend this one. Coming in now, coming in for $15 US, available now on Steam. Or if you don't already have Offworld Trading Company, you can actually pick this up as a stupidly awesome bargain. With actually picking it up with the core game for less than $30 US. So yeah, you just go for that. Seriously, go for that. But yes, available now on Steam for your corporate empire building pleasure. Alright, folks, that does wrap up the simulation release news this week. But before I go, a huge, big public service announcement. Do not forget, folks, that FlightSimCon is only 3 weeks away. Well, actually, in 3 weeks' time, we will be wrapping up FlightSimCon. So it is so close and it's so exciting. I'm really getting excited to actually be there. I'm realizing I probably should start thinking about packing sometime soon as well. Anyway, but yes, it is going to be there shortly. There's going to be I'm going to be there. Belgier is going to be there. There's going to be other YouTube personalities going to be there, and the biggest draw card of the weekend, I think, for everybody is going to there's going to be a whole heap of developers there going to be there that you can actually speak to, you can sit down with, you can experience products that they've got upcoming. But I think the biggest draw card and the most interesting thing that's going to be happening across the weekend is going to be the panel discussion between the three major developers. So there is, for the first time ever that I'm aware of, you're getting all three platform developers in the same room, on the same panel with us, the simulation public. So we're going to be having Lockheed Martin, we're going to be having Laminar Flow, and we're going to be having Dovetail Games. They're all going to be sitting together to take our questions and hear our thoughts on the directions that they're all taking with their various platforms, and where we're going to be able to see these go together for the future, and what the future is going to look like for us as flight simulator enthusiasts. So there you go. Alright, folks, thank you very much for joining me. Don't forget, as always, to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying these videos and want to see more. And of course, as always, you can catch up with me and all the things I'm up to between videos by finding me on Facebook and on Twitter. Just search NovaWing24. Alright, folks, thanks very much for watching. Take care, safe skies to all, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.